Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Whoopi Goldberg. She got suspended, surprisingly. She got suspended from The View for saying some things she shouldn't have said on air. A 2-week suspension. Meanwhile, Disney has outright fired other people for less, basically.
Or the same, yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about this. It is surprising that Disney took any action, given this is Whoopi Goldberg and this is The View. And I do think it matters not just politically who you are. I think it matters what kind of relationship you have with the company. Whoopi Goldberg is in like Flynn with Disney. She has been for a long time. She's a Disney legend. So
I think it also depends on how you vote. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, it absolutely does.
I'm just gonna flat out say it.
It absolutely does. So we're gonna talk about Whoopi. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, over 256,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. We do talk a lot about Disney, having worked in and around the company for a number of years. We talk about cancel culture because in the last 4 or 5 years, these companies have lost their collective minds. Like any infraction on social media, any wrong thinking tends to get you canceled, tends to get you fired. Now, what's interesting is companies like Disney have a very uneven way of enforcing cancellation. If they were like, okay, you say XYZ thing, you're done, that's it. But as we've seen in the past, it is very selective. Who gets canceled, for how long they're canceled.
It's not that hard to figure out. You look at how they vote.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just going to be flat out honest. That's what happened. I mean, Roseanne Barr got, she made that shitty tweet. It was stupid. Apologized.
She apologized.
And show was canceled. And
her show was canceled.
Brought back without her.
Which was really shitty to the audience, too, to do that. They're like, oh, yeah, mom's dead. Moving on.
Right.
The thing about this one, though, is that was a tweet. This Whoopi Goldberg made the comments she made on air, like on the View, like ABC, owned by Disney, was paying her to say this shit. Roseanne Barr said shit on Twitter. Now, I don't agree with what either one of them said, but clearly Whoopi Goldberg has a layer of protection that Roseanne Barr does not. And it was also the same with Gina Carano. She was fired over, an Instagram post?
Yeah, and I have it actually on here. I have what she said. She said, Jews are beaten in the streets not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first had to make their neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? And that teamed up with the fact that they were mad about her because they're claiming that she didn't put her pronouns in her bio, even though I pointed out before a lot of Disney and Lucasfilm people don't have pronouns in their bio.
That is true.
And they were demanding it, and they were calling her horrible names, and she fought back, and supposed to take it, I guess, if Twitter shits on you.
Yeah, James Gunn fired for years-old pedo jokes and then rehired.
That he got a completely different deal too.
Right. It's going to be really interesting to see how they deal with Evangeline Lilly from Ant-Man and the Wasp because, she attended a wrong thinkers rally and, she said she is pro-choice when it comes to vaccines.
It wasn't anti-vaccine rally or mandate. Yes. It was a pro-choice protest. It wasn't an anti-vaccine.
But I guess some things were said. She didn't say them. Some things were said at this rally that people were trying to use to get her fired. I think that one's on the back burner. This one, first we're going to talk about what she said, then we're going to talk about Disney's reaction. Obviously, if you're watching this video, you probably already know she made some Holocaust remarks.
I have them, if you scroll down.
Yes.
Okay, so what happened was they're talking about the book Mouse and how it's being banned.
Yeah.
And then she said, let's be truthful about it because Holocaust isn't about race. It's not about race. It's not about race. It's about man's inhumanity to man.
What?
And partially correct. The man's inhumanity to man is partly to blame, but it was about race. To which co-host Navarro replied with, but it's about white supremacists going after Jews. And Goldberg replied by saying, but those are two white groups of people. The minute you turn it into race, it goes down this alley. Let's talk about it for what it is. It's how people treat each other. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Jews. It's each other. Now, it is about race. It was. But she's not wrong in the fact that it's about how people treat each other too. Because people are treating each other like shit based on things like race, sexual orientation, and gender. And it's stupid, and I'm tired of it, and I'm tired of people like on Twitter perpetuating this shit.
So oh my God. Okay, so here's the thing. Do I think her intentions were malicious? No, I don't think they were. I
don't think Gina Carano's intentions
were either. Right. But so what we're seeing is a very uneven handling of, and then look, again, going back to The View. If you're on The View, unless you're conservative on The View, you've got a layer of protection because Joy Behar, didn't she get busted for doing blackface?
Yes, there's pictures of it. I just saw it yesterday on the internet.
If it had been anybody else on any other show.
Right, but you're allowed to do it if you're them. She did apologize the day after.
Well, so did Gina Carano, so did Roseanne Barr.
And it doesn't matter, yeah.
It doesn't matter.
So yesterday on the show, I misspoke. The Holocaust is indeed about race because Hitler and Nazis considered Jews to be inferior race. Yes. Now, words matter and mine are no exception. I regret my comments and I stand corrected. I also stand with the Jewish people. Okay, yeah. Gina Carano said she stood with people, she wasn't going to put pronouns in her bio, but she was like, she stands against bullying and supports them in their cause. And they still tried to cancel her. The comment, okay, let's look at what the statement made by ABC was.
Yeah.
The statement from ABC was, effective immediately, I am suspending Whoopi Goldberg for 2 weeks for her wrong and hurtful comments. While Whoopi has apologized, I've asked her to take time to reflect and learn about the impacts of her comments.
Go stand in the corner, Whoopi.
The entire ABC news organization stands in solidarity with our Jewish colleagues, friends, family, and communities. Shit, we're going to get canceled, slap her down publicly. And this is in comparison to what they said to Gina Carano.
Right.
Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their culture and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable. You see a little bit of a difference here in behavior and the way it's been handled? I mean, it basically, what it comes down to, I'm going to cut through all the bullshit. I'm not going to talk in circles, I'll cut through all the bullshit. Gina Carano's a Republican, and Whoopi Goldberg's an outspoken Democrat.
Yes.
That's what it's about.
When I talk extra layer of protection, that is exactly what we're talking. I mean, it's clearly, Whoopi Goldberg is part of the Hollywood inner circle right now. I mean, she's been in Hollywood for years. And they're not going to shit can her. It would take her, I'd sit there and say it would take her like beating children or something to get shit canned. I don't even know if they'd shit can her for that.
To me,
might give her 4 weeks off for that.
Here's the thing to me. People make mistakes and they say things or something comes out the wrong way or whatever, or they're misinformed or something happens, they make mistakes. And I don't think people should be fired over making mistakes or doing something stupid sometimes. If you apologize and you're sincere about it, then I think that's enough. I think this whole, if you sin according to Twitter, you're never absolved of your sins unless you're one of their darlings. And you must give up everything, and including they wish you death if you don't do what they want you to do. That is ridiculous. People make mistakes. It happens. You say you're sorry, you mean you're sorry, and if you're, and then you move on and try to do better. I don't think people should be fired over such things.
That being said, same with James Gunn. James Gunn has a lot of hot takes on politics, whatever. He and it's so weird because he got canceled and he was actually pushing for cancel culture. I'm like, dude, seriously. And this is after he got canceled.
That's why he was probably pushing for cancel culture to deflect so he didn't get canceled.
Right. But I'm like, people say dumb shit, whatever. There needs to be a standard. Yeah. If you do X, Y happens. And that is it. And it has to be evenly enforced.
Doesn't matter who you are.
This is the company policy. Any other company, Hollywood's all over the damn place, but any other normal company, you work at the widget factory and they've got their human resources, your manual, your employee manual.
Mm-hmm. It tells you straight up.
You do this, you get fired. It doesn't matter if you're the CEO or the guy working in, shipping and receiving. You do this according to our company rules, you get fired or you get suspended or whatever. And most companies are very clear about what the infractions are and what the discipline is. And Disney is all over the damn place, especially And it does matter who you are. And I think it also matters which division of Disney you're in, because Lucasfilm seems like they are totally in a different, like, they're not completely autonomous, but like they're just kind of doing their own thing, you know? And I think in the case of Gina Carano, they're just kind of doing their own thing. But you can tell Gina Carano's comments, those were not malicious. I don't think Whoopi Goldberg's comments were malicious.
Or meant to be, yeah. Intent matters. And it's just like, you don't have to agree with what they say to understand that people make mistakes. I mean, we've all said stuff that was stupid, and we're like, shit, I shouldn't have said that. And then you apologize for it, and then you learn. And now if you prove that you didn't learn jack shit, then that's a different story. But what makes me mad is, like, there's not the same standard across the board. It depends. And the message it's sending to people is basically, depending on which way you lean politically, is where we're going to draw the line for you.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is.
And it's an issue because you arguably have half the country voting for one side and half the country voting for another, if you go by what happened last time. And you have people in the middle, so you're literally telling half your audience that if you vote that way, you're a shitty person. And then they keep bringing back the vaccines and stuff like that. You do know that not every Democrat has a vaccine and not every Republican doesn't have a vaccine. You do know that, right? It's a very gray area across the board for a lot of people.
Evangeline Lilly is a Democrat.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, she's basically, pro-choice all the way around.
I know people who have the vaccine, but they don't believe people should be forced to have it, so they will stand up for their friends who they don't believe have a choice, even though they themselves believed in the vaccine, and vice versa. I'm so tired of this like, everything is drawn on a political line when it doesn't need to be, and it's stupid. And we're just in the middle. We lean left, but we're in the middle, and we're looking at the both sides like, y'all nuts. But this is one side's definitely leaning far crazier than the other.
I think what's going on here, and that's kind of like going back to Bill Maher. I mean, Bill Maher has always been free speech. I mean, he's been on the receiving end of cancel culture for years. I mean, he got canceled over some shit, and they were shitty comments. He made shitty comments about 9/11.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And so he understands. People misspeak all the time, especially social media. It's not like back in the day when you had to, say something stupid on your TV show or say something stupid in an interview. Now people just, shoot from the hip and post something on Twitter or Instagram that gets them canceled. Hell, you can do nothing. Chris Pratt has done nothing. And they're still trying to get him fired.
Because he leans this way because we decided, and he's a Christian, so we have to fire him.
That's exactly.
There's a lot of Christians aren't Republicans. It's funny.
He goes to this church. Yeah, I'm actually, I was really good friends with a guy who was very outspoken Democrat and also a professing Christian. He worked in the entertainment industry. And he was like, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you're Democrat or Republican, if you're saying you're in Hollywood and you're saying, hey, I'm a Christian.
The next thing is, remember the days where you didn't know what people voted for, who they voted for, and you didn't give a shit because they did their job okay and they weren't assholes? Okay, great.
Ironically enough, we were talking about cancel culture and the satanic panic and all of that. Dungeons and Dragons, most of the guys that worked on that were Christians. Mm-hmm. It's weird. You never knew, but it was like the churches were all trying to cancel them.
But I mean, well, now they're being canceled because now they know, and that's why they can't. I'm just so tired of this double standard shit. I think Disney needs to, across all their divisions. And you said about different divisions, different things like Marvel. Letitia Wright, Twitter's been demanding her firing, and they're demanding Evangeline Lilly, and they haven't fired them yet.
Yeah. Well,
so it depends on the branch, I think.
Yeah, and Tim Allen, he was. People think his show was canceled because of his political leanings. They think he was cut out of the Buzz Lightyear movie.
I don't think that's why, and I said that before.
I think it's his age for Buzz Lightyear.
That's what I think it was. And yeah, they're bringing him back for Santa Claus movie, but they're bringing him back to be replaced so they can continue the franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, that's what's going on. But he was at the Toy Story opening and everything else. And I was like, and that was after he had his opinions out there. So I kept thinking that doesn't make sense. But I guess it's when they can use you when they can use you.
You know what's weird about this is, like, Tim Allen and Tom Hanks, as far as I can tell, because I've seen them together like during press, they still get along okay. And they are at like opposite ends of the political spectrum, because that's a different era.
Pedro Pascal and Gina Carano got along fine, and she got along with other cast members who are very far left, and they said about what a sweetheart she is.
Yeah.
I mean,
imagine that. That's the thing too, because Pedro Pascal was posting hot takes on Twitter and
Instagram, and he took him down. He took him down, but
getting facts wrong. Literally getting facts wrong, and there was zero repercussion for him.
Right, because you were on the right side of Twitter.
The left side of Twitter.
Yeah. You're on the correct side, which is the left. And it just annoys me. And then people are like, well, you're full of crap. You're not Democrats. And it's like, well, actually, we didn't move. We stayed exactly where we always have been. But the extremes moved.
Yeah, I switched recently the last couple of years to Libertarian Party. I mean, people need to know, what it's none of your fucking business. But, because I can't support the Democrats.
I just say I'm center-leaning left and stay independent because I'm just like, I think to be honest, I think both sides are full of shit most of the time. So
we need more.
I'm just in the middle, like, with somebody with some ounce of reasoning ability step in here and please do something.
I think. I would like to think that maybe America just all the way around is getting tired of this shit.
They are getting tired of this shit. And the media perpetuates it.
Well, the media needs, they have to.
Well, The View's one of the ones that were the media perpetuating it.
I think eventually we're going to see the cancellation of The View. I think there are the hosts on The View who want to claim the moral high ground, have a lot of skeletons in their closet. And I think eventually ABC is going to be like, oh yeah, the ratings are down. Oh, we're pivoting into something else.
They stuck to being a show that was about just like, stories about people and and the world, and didn't stick their politics in it every time they had a chance, it wouldn't be such a big deal. But because they've made it so political, then they are not above reproach now. Because if they had just kept it, open to everyone, then it wouldn't have been such a big deal. Oh, you made mistakes, okay. But after they've tarred and feathered so many people for their beliefs, when it comes out they did something shitty, it's going to look a lot worse.
Yeah, I don't remember. I mean, look, obviously I'm not the demographic for The View, but it would come on in the background sometime. I remember, here and there, like late 90s, early 2000s, and it was just a bunch of women just kind of bitching about whatever was going on in the world, but it wasn't as ridiculously polarizing as it is now. And it definitely has changed tone. Again, not that I watch it, but from what clips I've seen of it, I'm like, what the hell?
I'm just like, it just some of the things I'm seeing, I'm like, how are they going to do that? But other people, like, Ellen's show got taken down for stuff. It just blows my mind. I don't know. Anyway,
it needs to be evenly enforced.
That's our point.
That is our point.
In a roundabout way, that's the point.
Clearly, now I'm surprised she didn't get canceled for this. Just speaking of which, Whoopi Goldberg has actually been pushing for Disney to release Song of the South again. For years. She was actually made a Disney legend, I think, in 2017. She's at Disney World all the time. In fact, I saw her in Disney World one time. But she's been pushing for the re-release of Song of the South for a long time. She's like, why can't we just release it with a disclaimer like Gone with the Wind?
Yeah, and then we have this, then it's a jumping off point for discussion.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just saying. And I'm surprised she hasn't been canceled for that. And honestly, she's done more controversial things than some of the other people who got canceled.
Well, did you watch her comedy from the 80s?
I know.
I mean, all these people, like, seriously, like, all these...
Yesterday, they had videos of Ted Danson when he was dating her and he was up on the stage and he had blackface on and she's laughing about it.
I'm just saying, this needs to fucking stop. I mean, this has to stop. And that's on both sides. Like, look, here's the employee handbook. We don't give a shit what your politics are, what your religious beliefs are, what your personal beliefs are, whatever. These are the lines nobody is allowed to cross as long as you work for Disney.
But it covers Disney's ass too, because then if they fire somebody and they're like, well, it's uneven-handed, it's like, well, actually, here it is.
It's in the book. But none of this like all over the fucking place thing. And it's kind of the same with, I said about Lucasfilm being its own thing. It was kind of what shocked me about, because I know just as a contractor for Disney, the shit I had to sign. And we saw Marvel Comics people out there on Twitter running at the mouth, running people down for years. And I'm like, if I did that when I was working on Disney Comics, I would have been terminated immediately. I wasn't even allowed to question the sales figures. I'd go on to a Disney message board. I'm like, yeah, sales aren't too good, are they? That was too negative. I'd get a phone call from my editor.
Well, that and you lost the Darkwing Duck thing that they're going to hire you for because how dare you question them? So
I'm like, I mean, they really need to get this in order. I guarantee you, if they're allowed to ask questions, next investor call, some of the people who were asking about Gina Carano last time are going to be like, okay, how come Gina Carano is still fired? And Whoopi Goldberg got off with a slap on the wrist, a 2-week suspension. She got a vacation. What are you going to do, send her to Disney World for 2 weeks? I mean, come on.
She has to go think about what she's done.
She has to go think about it. She has to go stand in the corner.
But Roseanne Barr apologized, told people not to defend her because she was completely wrong. And then she wasn't, I mean, and I'm not condoning what Whoopi said. I'm not condoning what Roseanne Barr said. I'm not condoning what Gina Carano said.
Yeah.
I'm saying that the handling of it is very all over the place. And Roseanne Barr was fired, apologized, everything, was still fired. Gina Carano, actually, that poor woman got harassed for months about being anti-trans because of pronouns that Disney themselves, a lot of their people don't even put in their bios, and no one did anything to help her. And then they fired her over that post. Yeah. And like there is this very uneven handling across the board. James Gunn, he got fired, but then he got brought back. I mean, there's a very uneven way they're dealing with it, and people are noticing. And Disney, you're going to need to get this under control, even if you have to like make it very clear to people what you can and can't do, because it's becoming a problem. Yeah, Taika Waititi, they had all kinds of stuff with him and like his girlfriend Tessa Thompson making out in front of everybody while they were on set and stuff. Nothing.
That's not very Disney of you.
No.
They were having three-ways or something.
Yeah, but that was fine. I'm not going to judge. If you want to do that, knock yourself out. I'm just saying, and I didn't think he should be fired over it.
Well, I mean...
But I'm just saying, I don't think Whoopi should have been suspended. I don't think Gina should have been fired. I don't think Roseanne should have been fired.
Yeah, just, draw a line. This is the line you can't cross. It has to be evenly enforced. If not, you're showing favoritism. I mean, it's as simple as that. And I have to wonder if they aren't walking shit back now or giving people
I'm wondering that too.
A little more leeway, because they're like, yeah.
They got so much shit over the other situations.
Plus they're like, oh, well, our own on the good guys are doing the same kind of shit or worse, so we can't. Yeah, I mean, this whole thing is...
The problem with purity tests is you're never pure enough.
Nobody is. Nobody can pass it.
And it depends on every few months, the new protected class changes. And it's getting ridiculous.
I think what's so funny, though, and I made this comment yesterday about Twitter, because Twitter for the longest time, about 4 or 5 years during the Trump administration, was definitely a socialist hug box. And if you were outside of that group, you were viciously attacked until you left. What I love right now is that Twitter is going all in on capitalism. Twitter is going all in. They're like,
are they?
Yeah, they're like...
Oh, I mean the company.
Yeah, the company.
Not the people on it.
No. And I think it's going to drive those people away. I love it. I mean, I'm not...
Back to Tumblr with you.
Yeah, like I don't give a shit about NFTs. I don't give a shit about, the pay-to-play whatever. But what I do like is having been on Twitter since 2008, 2009, is that I think the capitalism that is hitting Twitter upside the head.
Well, they have to make money to survive.
It's going to drive these crazies away. They're going to go someplace else, and I think it's beautiful. And Twitter, keep squeezing these people out, because this is where all the bullshit cancel culture comes from, is Twitter. Get rid of those people, and everybody can just go back to doing what they're doing. And if it's really egregious, you're killing somebody or you're raping somebody, then okay, you get fired. But you say something stupid, yeah.
I just want to say real quick before we wrap it up that The View, what they cancel people like Roseanne Barr over her comments, which I don't agree with, what she said. I've seen Joy Behar and them on The View make similar comments about other people, making fun of them or making, trash in them, or making some that could be construed as like istophobic. All the time.
And they get paid to do it.
Right.
They literally get paid to do it. So anyway, there we go. I'm sure she'll think long and hard in her 2-week vacation about this. And I don't think anything else. I think they're hoping in 2 weeks everybody's going to forget about it. It's going to go down the memory hole.
And it probably will, because they'll get mad about something else.
They'll just get mad about something else. So there we go, guys. Very interesting development, though. I'm surprised they did anything. But we're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later.
Bye.